Kimono Dragon.
What's up, YouTube? This is the Kimono Dragon, and I want to talk Avengers Endgame. I got to see this movie one time. I will be seeing it again, but in that first viewing, I noticed some things that jumped straight from the comic books, at least in my opinion. Well, anyway, I want to go over those things. 10 Avengers Endgame movie scenes that came straight from the comic book pages. This is a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it yet, do not go further in this video. All right? You've been warned. Let's do it.
Number 10.
So the scene where Thanos shows up to the Avengers building and basically destroys it, the Hulk catches the floor and prevents War Machine and Ant-Man from being crushed. That scene reminded me of back during the original run of the Secret Wars. Owen Reese the Molecule Man tried to kill all the Avengers by dropping a mountain range on top of them. Not one mountain, a whole mountain range. And who called it? The Hulk. Called it on his back like, ha! Because he's the Hulk. Although we didn't see that level of strength in the MCU, it was still exciting to see that homage to that scene in the comic.
Number 9.
Towards the end of the movie, there's a scene where Nebula is holding the brand new Infinity Gauntlet that the Avengers have created to try to overthrow Thanos. In the comic book Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos' physical body was sitting on the throne, and Nebula comes up and swoops it off, puts it on herself, and goes crazy. I thought I was going to see something like that in the movie, but I think that shot of her holding it was the closest we were going to get to the shot of the comic book panel of her putting it on.
Number 8.
In the movie, we finally see Captain America lift Thor's hammer. This was foreshadowed in Avengers Age of Ultron, where they were all sitting around trying to move the hammer, and Captain America was the only one to get it to budge just a little bit, and Thor looked a little worried there. This happened numerous times in the comic books. One time I can remember was during the Fear Itself run, where Thor was killed by his uncle, the Serpent, and Captain comes up, picks up the hammer, and wrecks shop.
Number 7.
We finally get to see Professor Hulk in the MCU. Professor Hulk is the merger of Bruce Banner and the Savage Green Hulk's mind. He's not as powerful as the regular Savage Green Hulk on his own, because, you know, the madder he gets, stronger he gets. That doesn't really happen with Professor Hulk. But in the movie, I want to talk about the scene where they went back to the Battle of Chitauri in New York, and, you know, Professor Hulk was standing there behind him. He had the black tank top on and the jeans, and straight out of the comics, man.
Number 6.
In the movie, we get to see Thor dual-wield hammers. Man, that was awesome to see in the theater. I got excited. Everybody around me did. My wife said I was a nerd. That's all right, I am. But, man, in the comics, there's a story more recently called God Bomb, where 3 different versions of Thor get together to fight Gore, the God Butcher. Really awesome story.
Number 5.
Pepper Potts wearing the rescue armor. This is something we saw in, I don't remember the title of the comic, but the story went where Norman Osborn was in charge of Hammer, and he was trying to hunt down Tony Stark because he had all the information from the Superhuman database, and, you know, they got a hold of him, and Pepper Potts donned the MK16 armor, the rescue armor they call it, and she went and saved him. And this is kind of what we saw in the movie Avengers Endgame. It was a really awesome scene when they all got together and attacked Thanos.
Number 4.
The death of Black Widow was a shocker to me. I didn't expect her to die at all. And she went out the same way Gamora did in Infinity War to get the Soul Gem. In the comics, she died. I can remember when Captain America was actually a Hydra agent. Yeah, that happened. And he broke her neck with his shield. Like, it was some brutal stuff, man, but your boy Cap did it. And speaking of Captain America being a Hydra agent, let's talk about that.
Number 3.
I love this scene, man, where Captain gets back in that elevator. It looks just like the one from Winter Soldier where he fought all those guys. Well, this time he's in there and he leans over and whispers Hell Hydra to one of them. So they think that, you know, he's one of the Hydra agents just like them. And they hand over Loki's scepter, which he went there to get in the first place. So this was just a little wink at Captain actually being a Hydra agent in the comics.
Number 2.
In a great display of storytelling, in my opinion, we see Captain America tasked with taking the Infinity Stones back to their respective timelines. In doing so, he's like, let me go see what Peggy's doing in the 1940s. And he stays there and lives a whole life with her. I mean, it was only, what, 5 seconds or 9 seconds to us, and he came back an old man, which was great, a fitting end to Captain America's story arc. But in the comics, he became an old man because I believe he ran out of the super soldier serum and he started to age like a normal human.
Number 1. Ichiban.
The death of Tony Stark was not a shocker. He's died plenty of times in the comics. He's faked his death before. But to see it in the MCU was fitting and touching because, you know, Tony Stark, he started the whole Infinity Saga in the MCU. In the first Iron Man movie, at the end credit scene where Nick Fury shows up and hands him the Avengers Initiative packet, that started it all. And I never thought we would get to this point in live action. You know, seeing all the Avengers together, seeing Thanos, like who would have thought? But man, wait to the future. What are we gonna see next? Galactus? How about Galactus? Or Fantastic Four? Well, you know, all that stuff's coming, but it's really exciting. These are exciting times to be a comic book fan. So, this is the end of the video, so YouTube, see you later.
Please like and subscribe to Kimono Dragon. If you do not, I will send my ninja to your home.